Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto was kidnapped and became a Kumo Shinobi. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Naruto had just finished his early morning training with his sister and teammates and was getting ready to spend time with the third Hokage's grandson like he promised. He walked out of his hotel and noticed someone trying to hide behind a camouflage cloak that was being held the wrong way. "Is that you, Konohamaru?" The boy dropped the cloak and smiled. "As expected of my new rival. Even a master of stealth like myself can't hide from you." Konohamaru, you were holding the cloak the wrong way. It wasn't hard to see you." Konohamaru started blushing and rubbing the back of his head. "What are we going to do today, boss?" the embarrassed boy said, trying to change the subject. Naruto got a devilish grin on his face. "Today we are gonna pull some pranks." "Oh, what kind of pranks?" Konohamaru was visibly excited at the mention of pulling pranks. "Some awesome pranks. I haven't been able to get much pranking done because my big sis is always catching me, but today I set her up on a date, so we should be able to get some serious pranking done while she focuses on that." In the hotel's shared bathhouse, Yugito was currently soaking in a bath with Karui beside her after the morning training. "Achoo! Looks like someone's talking about me. Maybe it's that guy Naruto set you up on a date with." "I told you, it's not a date. You're letting him treat you to ice cream. How is that not a date?" "Shut up, Karui." Yugito was blushing wildly. "Whatever, be in denial, for all I care. You know that idiot's probably gonna go try and pull a bunch of pranks, right?" "I know. I figure I'll let him loose just for today. I trust him not to pull anything that leads to an international incident." "You trust that dumbass way more than I do." Karui got a firm slap upside her head for that comment. "Don't cuss so much." "Ow! You didn't have to hit me that hard." Back with the boys, they were strolling through some back alleys as Naruto was explaining his game plan to Konohamaru. "Okay, Konohamaru, I figure we'll pull a couple of smaller pranks as a warm-up, then we'll move on to the big one I have planned today." "Sure thing, boss. What kind of prank do you want to pull first?" "Teehee, I'll show you one of my favorite pranks first. Follow me." The two jumped on the roofs and started jumping around town till they found a good mark. "Those two are perfect." Naruto pointed out a couple on the street walking hand in hand. "How are we gonna prank them, boss?" "Watch and learn, young grasshopper." Naruto put his hands into a seal in preparation for a jutsu. Transform. Naruto suddenly turned into a beautiful woman with large assets and long flowing blonde hair tied into pigtails. She was wearing an orange shirt that hugged her figure tightly and black shorts that showed off practically every inch of her legs. "Whoa," was all Konohamaru could say as he looked at the beautiful woman in front of him with a blush. "Teehee, like what you see, Konohamaru? I call this my sexy jutsu. Boss, you have got to teach me that one." "Maybe later, for now just watch and learn." Naruto jumped down from the roof around a corner in front of where the couple were heading. He turned the corner and started walking the opposite direction as them while whistling a happy melody. As he walked, he made sure to sway his hips side to side in an alluring way. He passed the couple and the man turned his head to stare at Naruto's rather plump behind. The woman of course saw this and immediately slapped the man in the back of the head and called him a pervert. She broke her hand free from the man's and stormed off with the man offering apology after apology while chasing after her. "Works every time." Naruto yelled excitedly after the couple were out of earshot. Konohamaru jumped down from the roof and had a look of pure admiration on his face. "Boss, that was amazing. You have to teach me that technique sometime." "Later, I got a few more pranks to show you before I let you in on the details for the big prank." As the two started jumping around the roofs looking for more marks, Naruto couldn't help but wonder about his sister and Iruka. They should be meeting up right about now. I hope those two hook up so I don't have to hear sis complaining about not getting laid again. Not long after Naruto and Konohamaru had left, Iruka picked up Yugito from the hotel and took her to the same ice cream shop she took her team the day before. Yugito was currently devouring the ice cream at a speed that would rival Naruto when he eats ramen. My, you certainly have a strong appetite today. Yugito stopped eating and blushed. I really like ice cream. Anything with milk or cream in it really. Oh, I see. Well, at least milk is healthy. Naruto's obsession with ramen has to be one of the most unhealthy habits I've ever seen. Don't worry about that. I make sure that he gets proper nutrition. Even if I have to force the fruits and vegetables down his throat. Huh, that's good. That boy needs a firm hand to keep him in line. I hear he hasn't been doing as many pranks because of you. I can usually catch him before he gets the big ones off. He still likes to harass people who piss him off though. All of a sudden the two hear a woman just outside the store yelling at a man for being a nasty pervert who likes underage girls. That was probably Naruto's handiwork. Yugito said with a small smile. What do you mean? Iruka asked curiously. He likes to transform into an attractive teenage girl and walk around in front of couples to expose the unfaithful guys. Wow, that's a dick move. Yugito was taken aback by the brash and vulgar way Iruka described Naruto's favorite prank and started laughing hysterically. Iruka started blushing wildly. I don't know why I said that. It just sort of slipped out. I'm very sorry, that was incredibly inappropriate. Ha ha ha, it's okay. I like guys who tell it like it is. After she realized what she said, she started blushing, just like Iruka. They sat in an uncomfortable silence for a while until Iruka decided to speak. So, tell me about how you and Naruto became family. Back when Naruto came to my village, he was still just an innocent child. I was amazed that someone who could have experienced such painful experiments at the hands of that monster could still have such a positive outlook on life. I decided that I would adopt him and treat him like the little brother I always wanted. That's not all, right? You wanted to help him because you know the kind of life people like you tend to have. Yes. I didn't want him to have the same lonely childhood I had. People with our condition have to stay together. Don't talk about it like it's a sickness. There is nothing wrong with you too. Thank you. I can tell you are a kind, understanding man. I'm glad he had a friend like you while he was here. I wasn't always this understanding. I didn't like Naruto at first, but something he did changed my opinion of him. Iruka began reminiscing about the time he and Naruto first met. Iruka was taking a casual stroll through the parks of the village when he noticed three boys pushing around a small girl with white eyes and blue hair. Iruka immediately ran toward them to stop them, but before he could get close enough, an orange and yellow flash knocked one of the boys down. Stop picking on people, you big dumb bully. Who the heck are you? The bully yelled out from under Naruto. I'm the guy who's gonna be the Hokage one day. I won't let bad guys like you hurt anybody in this village. Get him off me, you morons. The boy yelled to his underlings, who quickly grabbed Naruto and started to punch and kick him. Alright, that's enough. Iruka finally yelled out, and the three boys turned and ran from the sight of the angry man in front of them. Iruka ran up and saw that the girl was crying over the boy's chest. I'm sorry. If I wasn't so weak, you wouldn't need to save me. Lady Hinata. Ko? Suddenly an older Hyuga man showed up and asked Hinata what just happened. She explained that she was getting bullied and that she was saved by the boy and older man. The Hyuga thanked Iruka for helping Hinata and quickly took her away. Wait, Ko. What about that boy? Lady Hinata, it's in your best interest to ignore that child. He is not the kind of boy you should associate with. But he saved me. That man saved you, not the boy. Now please be quiet and don't mention that boy again. Especially in front of your father. Hinata hung her head in defeat and was silent all the way home. Iruka, on the other hand, stood by Naruto. Hey, are you okay? Yeah. Is that girl okay? Yes, her caretaker just took her home. Good. I hate it when bad guys hurt pretty girls. That was really brave of you to jump in and help her like that. Well, if I'm going to be the Hokage one day, I'm gonna have to get used to helping people. I have an idea. Do you want me to take you to eat something as a reward for your bravery? Yes, sir. Naruto's face lit up with a huge smile at the prospect of food. Have you ever had ramen before? There's a really good ramen stand nearby. Ramen? Never heard of it. Is it good? Why don't you be the judge of that? Okay, I will. Iruka took Naruto by his tiny hand and walked him to Ichiraka Ramen, where Naruto ate his first and definitely not last bowl of ramen. And that's the day Naruto discovered ramen, and also the day he became like a brother to me. Yugito was silent as she processed what she just heard. A young Hyuga girl? It must have been the same one we saw yesterday. Yugito was snapped back to reality when she heard Iruka clear his throat. That's certainly an interesting story. Even now Naruto will jump into a fight to protect someone weaker than him. Yeah, I've heard rumors about what happened in the Wave Country. Would you mind telling me the whole story of what happened there? Wave Country, huh? That's an interesting one for sure. The mission was supposed to be a simple assassination. Get in and kill the shipping tycoon Gato and then get out. Naruto didn't want to kill him though. Why? Gato is a notorious criminal. I would think Naruto of all people would jump at a chance to get rid of such a man. Naruto is very idealistic. He wanted to make Gato stand trial for his crimes. He rounded up some civilians and gave a rousing speech about standing up for yourself. He inspired the people to take up arms, and with me and the other 2 members of our team we were able to storm his hideout and wipe out his entire army of thugs. It was that easy. But Gato is known for hiring rogue ninja. They didn't try and stop you. One of the perks of being like me and Naruto is that some ninja know better than to mess with you. The rogue ninja he hired cut their losses and got out of there the second they realized who I was. Anyway, we took Gato prisoner and he was put on trial by the people. They found him guilty and he was publicly executed. What about the bridge? I heard they named it after Naruto. Yes, well, the bridge was the reason Gato was in the wave. The people were trying to build it as a way to break free of Gato's control. He was staying in the wave until he could find and assassinate the bridge builder. Luckily the bridge builder went into hiding right before the contract came in on Gato's life. He came back after he heard of Gato's death, and with Naruto and my team's help finished the bridge. To think that goofy little kid I used to take out for ramen would grow into such a hero. If you think it's weird for you, imagine how it is for me. I used to sit him down and help him with his homework. That boy couldn't even read or write before he met me, and forget about him doing math. Ha ha ha, I remember how angry he would get when he would see numbers. He would always start yelling. Numbers are stupid and whoever thought of them is a jerk. Both of the adults said at the same time. The 2 started a light-hearted laugh. You know, Miss Yugito, I'm glad you and Naruto found each other. He deserves to have a family as great as you. I'm not that great of a family. Yugito was once again blushing. Every month I have a get-together with a bunch of my girlfriends and we like to drink and talk about girl stuff. Naruto hates it. We can get pretty loud and raunchy sometimes, and it's part of the reason he became such a pervert. Come on, you can't be that bad when you get together with your friends. Yugito bent over the table and whispered something into Iruka's ear. Iruka instantly blushed at a level that would rival Hinata. That's the kind of stuff we talk about. Well, that's interesting. Naruto overheard that conversation and I caught him the next day looking in an anatomy textbook trying to understand what we were talking about. Of all the things he would be interested in studying, it had to be that. Both adults were blushing in yet another uncomfortable silence. Well, I should probably get going now. I'm an academy teacher and I have to get my lesson plan for tomorrow done. As Iruka got up, his hand was suddenly grabbed by Yugito. Will I see you again? Well, we could always have dinner or something together. Tonight? Yeah. Here's my address. Iruka wrote his address on a piece of paper and handed it to Yugito. Come over at around 8 tonight and I'll make something for us. I'll be there. Iruka walked off and Yugito was in the shop alone. Why am I feeling like this? He's a foreigner. But he makes me so happy, and no one back home even thinks about touching me. I have to get a hold of myself. I'm not about to give it up to a man after only one date. Wouldn't it technically be 2 dates if you go tonight? You don't talk to me for 2 days, and this is what you butt in with? I don't see the problem with this. You're both attracted to each other, so there should be no reason you two can't mate. You wouldn't understand. Humans can't just go around mating whenever we want without consequences. Your species invented birth control. You're the only animals in the world that can. Well? I'm done talking to you. Elsewhere in the village, Naruto and Konohamaru were preparing for their final prank of the day. Okay Konohamaru, I've shown you all of my favorite pranks, now it's time for us to pull the ultimate prank. What are we gonna do, boss? You and I are going to challenge the Hokage to a duel. Are you crazy? How is that a prank? We're gonna get our butts kicked. It's a prank because we aren't going to fight. We'll challenge him and then I'll bust out my ultimate anti-pervert technique. Ooh, what kind of technique is it, boss? It puts my sexy jutsu to shame. Come on, and I'll show you. The two bolted toward the Hokage tower to challenge the Hokage. It was getting late into the afternoon, so the Hokage should have been finished with his paperwork. When the two arrived, they opened the door to find the third reading a small orange book. Aha! I knew you were a pervert, old man. Grandpa. How come you can read those books and I can't? Both boys yelled at the Hokage, causing him to drop his book in shock. Naruto, Konohamaru, what are you two doing here? We're here to challenge you to an honorable duel. Yeah, an honorable duel, Grandpa. Naruto suddenly put his hands into a strange seal Konohamaru had never seen before. My ultimate anti-pervert jutsu. First, I start off with this Shadow Clone Jutsu. About 10 Narutos suddenly appeared in the room. Konohamaru and the Hokage were both shocked, but the Hokage was even more so because he knew how dangerous this jutsu was. He learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu. The Raikage let him learn a forbidden technique. Now, for the second part. Transform. Suddenly the Narutos were all changed into naked teenage girls identical to the one earlier in the day. Oh Lord Hokage. You're such a handsome man. Let me give you a big wet kiss. The clones all said in unison. Suddenly a geyser of blood shot out of the Hokage's nose, and he fell over unconscious. Success! Both the boys said in unison before they ran out the door, high-fiving each other along the way. The third Hokage regained consciousness quickly and sat back in his chair. My, what an interesting jutsu. Lord Hokage. The third turned around in his chair and saw a silver-haired jonin wearing a mask. Yes, Kakashi. That was awesome. Indeed. What brings you around here at this time, Kakashi? I've received word from Jiraiya. He's found a promising lead on Orochimaru, but he'll be here as soon as he can. Keep me updated. Knowing Jiraiya, he'll just show up one day at a hot spring. He was never one for protocol. Understood. With that, Kakashi bowed to the Hokage and jumped out the open window he used to get in. Now where was I? The Hokage picked up his orange book and kept reading. It was already dark when Naruto dropped off Konohamaru at the Sarutobi clan compound. Naruto left him with a promise to teach him the sexy jutsu whenever he had some free time. A sudden rumbling in Naruto's stomach sent him to Ichiraka Ramen, where he saw Tuchi's daughter Ayam. Hey Ayam. Do you remember me? She looked at him for a few seconds until she realized. Naruto. She grabbed him in a bone-crunching hug and lifted him off the ground. Hey Ayam. You're gonna crush me and I won't be able to take the Chunin exams. She placed the boy back down with a happy look on her face. I missed you, Naruto. Me and Dad were really worried about you. Yeah, I know. I already met your dad yesterday. He didn't tell you I was back in town. He told me to expect a visit from a VIP sometime in the next few days. He probably expected you to come in and surprise me sometime. Like I just did. Naruto said with a chuckle. Well, yeah. Anyway, sit down and I'll make you my new specialty ramen. Naruto did as instructed and he started conversing with Ayam as she cooked. So how have things been, Ayam? Things have been good. A little boring without you here though. People keep telling me that. How are things in the Cloud Village? The Cloud Village isn't so bad. I've got good friends and a big sister to take care of me. Oh, you should bring her here sometime so I can meet her. I'll try, but tomorrow I'm gonna start doing some hard last-minute training for the Chunin exams. I won't have a lot of free time. Chunin exams, huh? Are you gonna kick some butt? You bet. I'm gonna demolish all the competition and prove I'm the best. Ayam had a chuckle at Naruto's boisterous attitude. So Naruto, do you have a special girl back at the Cloud Village? None of the girls my age back at the Cloud Village really catch my eye. There is one girl I saw here in this village that caught my attention though. Naruto said with a big blush visible on his cheeks. What's she like? Maybe I've seen her around. She's got really pretty blue hair and white eyes. I saw her and some other girls at an ice cream shop the other day. At first she just sort of blended into the background and I didn't notice her, but once I took a closer look I realized she was really pretty and that she kind of liked me. I'm thinking of asking her out sometime. White eyes. You mean a Hyuga? Yeah. Hinata was her name. Hinata? I think I know that girl. My friend who works at the local bakery talks about a Hyuga girl named Hinata who buys cinnamon buns from her. Really? What does she say about her? Naruto was excited at the prospect of learning more about the girl he was so interested in. She's apparently a really timid girl. Hyuga women have a reputation for being spoiled and rude, but my friend told me that she's really kind and considerate. One day when they were short-staffed at my friend's bakery, Hinata offered to help and spent the whole day in the kitchen. Yeah, she seemed like the nicest one of the girls I met yesterday. The other two were really pretty, but they didn't have the same kind of inner beauty that Hinata had. Ayam couldn't help herself from bursting into laughter. Huh, what's so funny, Ayam? I'm sorry. Ayam said as she suppressed her laughter. It's just the way you described her as having an inner beauty was just so adorable. Naruto got a huge blush on his face yet again and sat in silence until his food was done. He devoured it in an instant and paid Ayam. It was good to see you again, Naruto. I hope things work out between you and that girl. Just tell her about her inner beauty and I bet she'll fall in love with you on the spot. See you later, Ayam. Naruto ran off embarrassed and found himself on some rooftop somewhere. He took out a pocket watch and looked at the time. It's still not that late. What else can I do tonight? Naruto, I have a favor to ask. Kurama? You've been pretty quiet the past couple of days. What's up? Ever since we've been in the village I've been sensing something really weird. I think that there might be another Jinchuriki besides you and Yugito. How is that possible? I was the only Jinchuriki in this village. This one might be again in here to take the Chunin exams like you. Focus for a second and you should be able to sense him not too far from here. Naruto complied with Kurama's wishes by sitting in a meditative position and activating his sensory powers. He was soon able to sense every person in the entire village. He could feel everything they were feeling and could even pinpoint their exact location. Okay, what exactly am I looking for? Imagine if I was batshit insane and a lot weaker. If I'm right, then this Jinchuriki is paired with Shikaku, the one tail. Okay, I think I found him. He's in a hotel in the rich part of town. Good God, you weren't kidding about this guy. He'd give Tayuya a run for her money with how screwed up his head is. Then it's as I feared. Shikako has gotten to him. What's up with Shikako? Is he really that bad? It's partly his fault that the Jinchuriki tradition exists. He hates humanity. Unlike the rest of us, who either learned to coexist with humans or ignore them, Shikako actively sought conflict with them. To be honest, I've been wanting to beat some sense into him for a long time. Before we do that, I want to try talking it out. Maybe I can help them like Bee did for you and me. Fine. Be warned that I will intervene if you end up fighting him. I don't care if you refuse my power when fighting the other genin, but I will not stay my hand against another Jinchuriki. I got it. Don't worry, I would have asked for your help anyway. Good. Now what's the plan, Naruto? Are you going to tell Yugito about this? I'll tell her tomorrow. I don't want to get in the way of her date tonight. It seems to be going pretty well from what I can tell. Pretty well was an understatement. Yugito and Iruka were having a great time swapping stories about their careers and their friends. So let me get this straight, they had an actual dick measuring contest? Yes, and they kept begging me to be the one to measure. It was kind of creepy, actually. I had a pair of girlfriends who made me measure their chest size once, so I can relate. It's hard being the only sane one in a group sometimes, isn't it? You can say that again. Can you excuse me for a second while I go to the bathroom? Of course. Yugito got up and walked over to the bathroom. Iruka was a gentleman, but even the most noble of man has to peek when a woman with a behind shaped like Yugito's is walking away. Of course, being the gentleman that he was, his peek was brief. He turned away, his face flushed. Little did he know that Yugito's face was equally flushed. Shit. I've got to think of an excuse to get out of here before I do something stupid. Or you could mate with him like I've been telling you to this whole time. God damn it, Matatabi. Just do it. I can't. Do it. No. You want it and he wants it, so just do it. Do it. You don't understand. I can't do it because I forgot my birth control at home like a dumbass. I remembered when you mentioned birth control earlier. Then make him wear a goddamn condom. What if he doesn't have any? I don't want to get his hopes up for nothing. For fuck's sake, Yugito, there's a convenience store right around the corner. He can go buy some. Yeah, but what if he gets really embarrassed and can't buy them? I swear to God I'll supercharge your hormones if you don't have a dick in you within 10 minutes. You think you're horny now? This is nothing compared to what I can make you experience. Fine. I'm going. Iruka jumped when his bathroom door swung open and a scarlet Yugito walked out. Do you have any condoms here or do we need to buy some? She asked bluntly. Naruto dropped some off while we were out earlier. Hold on a sec. Both their chakra signatures just got way hotter. I think they're about to. Oh. We have penetration. Yes. My man Iruka closing the deal. Good thing we dropped off those rubbers earlier. It was a little awkward with Konohamaru with us, but it was worth it. I'm so glad this happened. Now I don't need to listen to sis complaining about how she can't get laid. Speaking of getting laid, I sense a cute little white-eyed honey not too far from here. Want to test our luck? You are one perverted fox, you know that. That's why we make such a good team. You got that right. Okay, let's go get her. Hinata was very conflicted right now. All she could think about the past 2 days was how her childhood crush just appeared out of nowhere and just happened to be a ninja from the most hated village in the Hyuga clan. She didn't even know why the Hyuga hated the clouds so much and she was afraid to ask. It was driving her crazy thinking about it all. She finally decided to get her mind off of everything by going out and buying some cinnamon buns. She was just leaving the bakery when she ran into the very source of her current stress. Hey beautiful. Naruto blurted out as he jumped off the roof in front of a shocked Hinata. Naruto. Did he just call me beautiful? I was just walking around the village and saw you, so I decided to see how you were doing. I'm alright. Hinata was blushing blood red already. Teehee, you're really cute when you're blushing. You think I'm cute? Well, yeah. I couldn't stop thinking about you yesterday. In fact, I was wondering if maybe you wanted to spend some time together? Yes. I mean, I would like that very much. Okay, then let's go. Naruto grabbed Hinata by the hand and took her away. Hinata was so stunned by the recent turn of events that she wasn't thinking straight. She regained her composure after a few minutes and started talking to Naruto. Naruto, where are we going? I'm going to take you to my favorite place in this whole village. Well, second favorite place to be honest. I'll take you to my favorite place on our next date. Date? Hinata lost herself in a daydream as she began fantasizing about what she wanted to happen tonight. Though her fantasy was tame by most standards, it was enough by her standards to paint her face with a crimson blush. Okay, we're here. Hinata snapped out of her daydreams when she realized she was on the observation deck in front of the Hokage monument. This is my second favorite place in the village. I love looking at the faces of the Kage because it inspires me to surpass them. They stood in an uncomfortable silence for a little while as Hinata was too embarrassed to say anything and Naruto couldn't think of anything else to say. Naruto thought back to when he would spy on other people on dates and thought of what to say next. So tell me more about yourself, Hinata. I bet you have all sorts of kick-ass stories about your life as a ninja. Well. Hinata steeled her resolve and made a mental vow to stop stuttering. I don't have many stories about being a ninja, but I can tell you that my hobbies are gardening and that I love cinnamon buns. Hinata was beyond proud of herself. She actually got through a sentence talking to Naruto without a stutter. Gardening, huh? I always kind of liked flowers, but the lightning country sucks for growing stuff. Fertilizer is expensive and there are so many clouds around, it's hard to grow plants that need a lot of sunlight. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe you can go to the Yamanaka clan's flower shop and find some flowers that will grow in that region's climate. Hinata was cheering in her head at yet another sentence without a stutter. That's a great idea. You're really smart, Hinata. Naruto started staring into Hinata's eyes, making her regain the blush she had successfully suppressed earlier. You're also really pretty and you have nice chakra. I have a nice chakra. The stutter was back and Hinata was mentally berating herself for slipping back into that habit so easily. Yeah. You see, I'm a sensory ninja, so I can feel people's chakra. You have a really warm chakra. It's the chakra of someone with a kind heart. It reminds me a lot of my mother. My mother told me once that I should find a girl who is like her. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I kind of like you, and I was wondering if you would be my. Suddenly Naruto found himself on the ground with a very angry Kunoichi pinning him down by his arm. Normally Naruto would have been happy having a woman that looked like this on top of him, but in this situation he was obviously not. Hinata! Are you alright? Did this cloud ninja hurt you or try to make you do something you didn't want? Kurinage-sensei. I wasn't doing anything bad, I swear. Naruto had tears developing in his eyes from the pain of having Kurinai twist his arm. It hurt almost as bad as when his sister twists his ear. Listen, Cloud Ninja, as I'll only say this once. Stay away from my student or I'll make you regret it. Kurinage-sensei. Please get off of Naruto. Kurinai whipped her around and stared at Hinata. This boy is Naruto. Kurinai had heard the stories of the Jinchuriki who left the village as a child, but she had no idea that the boy she was manhandling was that same Jinchuriki. Please, Kurinai-sensei. Naruto and I were just talking. Kurinai finally let go of Naruto and let him stand up. First my ear and now my arm. Why do grown women like beating me up so much? I think you should go now, Cloud Ninja. I don't want to see you hanging around my student anymore. Do I make myself clear? That's not your decision to make now, is it? Hinata seemed to enjoy my company. Kurenai started slowly walking toward Naruto. You have 5 seconds to get out of my sight. 5. Aw man, I'm sorry Hinata. 4. It's okay Naruto. Please don't blame yourself. 3. Okay, I get it. I'm gone. Naruto jumped away and left the two kunoichi alone. As soon as he was out of earshot, Kurenai turned to Hinata. Kurenai-sensei, why did you do that? Hinata. It's time you learned the truth about why your clan hates the cloud. It was finally the day of the first part of the Chunin exams, and Naruto was beyond excited. Not only was he convinced he was going to dominate the exams, but he was sure he was going to get the chance to see Hinata again. He was practically bouncing off the walls with excitement until his sister Yugito came in and gave him a firm smack on the head. Hurry up and get ready. I want you 3 there early. Her yelling woke up the still sleeping Omoi, and he and Naruto quickly got ready and left the room to find a fully prepared Karui waiting for them. You two lazy asses need to shape up. I've been ready for almost half an hour. Karui had a vein throbbing on her forehead as she said that. We have a little over an hour and a half to get there. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Naruto said in a slightly playful tone. What was that about my panties? Karui shot Naruto an evil eye while grasping her sword in one hand. Nothing. Naruto responded, visibly shaken. All of a sudden Yugito came out of her room and gave all 3 of them firm slaps on the head. Hurry up and get out of here, you morons. If you aren't out of the hotel in 5 seconds, I will personally drag you 3 there with my bare hands. Yugito wasn't kidding around today, and the 3 genin knew it. The 3 genin didn't want to incur the wrath of their sensei, so they ran out of the hotel at top speed. Once they were out the door, Omoi spoke up. So how do we get to the first testing site anyway? Sis said the first testing site was a room over at the academy. I know where it is, so follow me. With that, the 3 genin took off and were on their way to taking the Chunin exams. Back in the hotel, Yugito was waiting patiently on her bed, staring at the clock. She perked up when she heard a knock at her window and opened it. Iruka jumped in and smiled at her with a faint blush on his face. Are the kids gone already? He asked while stroking Yugito's equally blush face. They just left. We have until the exam gets out to do this. I gave Naruto a gift card for Ichiraku yesterday. He's going to take his team out afterward. That should buy us another hour at least. Maybe 2 if Naruto decides to pig out like he usually does. I love a man who thinks ahead. Yugito then pushed Iruka onto the bed with force. She started straddling his waist and lightly nibbling on his neck and ear, a technique that she learned he loved on their first night together. He returned the favor by squeezing and rubbing her butt. Yugito started purring like a cat and stared deeply into Iruka's eyes. He recognized the cat-like irises that replaced her normal ones whenever she got excited. Be gentle with me, he said as Yugito began undressing him. I can't promise you that. She mockingly stuck her tongue out at him, then pulled his pants down. Naruto and his team were nearing the academy when Naruto suddenly stopped and started giggling. What's up, Naruto? Omoi asked. I know why sis wanted us gone so badly. Oh God. Karui already knew where this was going. Naruto just started walking again, ignoring the confused look from Omoi and the annoyed look from Karui. Naruto and his squad weren't the only Chunin hopefuls on their way to the test. Hinata and her team were making their way to the testing site as well. Kiba was holding a sleeping Akamaru in his arms while Shino just walked with his hands in his pockets like he always does. Kiba was trying to make small talk with Shino while Hinata was stuck in a contemplative silence. She had a lot to think about recently with the revelation of her clan's troubled past with the Cloud Village. Hinata was a mature girl for her age, so she understood a lot of things that other girls may not have, such as her clan's choice to hide the truth from her when it was apparent that she didn't remember the event. What she couldn't understand was why her father, a man who prided himself on his level head, could do something so rash as murder her kidnapper when it was well within his power to incapacitate him with the gentle fist. A shinobi must always keep his emotions under control. Hinata repeated that quote over and over in her head. It was the first thing her father said to her when she began her gentle fist training. He drilled that into her mind constantly, and the overwhelming hypocrisy of it drove Hinata mad on the inside. She wanted to confront her father and tell him that she knew that her uncle died because of him, but she couldn't muster up the strength. She locked herself up in her room when not training and was beginning to worry the clan. That was only the first of her problems though. She also had to deal with the problem of her childhood crush being a member of the village who tried to kidnap her. She didn't want to believe that Naruto was the kind of person to do such a thing, but she had no idea what the Cloud Village could have done to him in the years since he was there. Brainwashing children was a practice that occurred often in the more immoral hidden villages, and from what she could gather, the Cloud had a reputation for being ruthless in their search for rare bloodline abilities. Bark bark. Hinata was alerted at the sound of the now wide-awake Akamaru's bark. The dog was happily licking its master's face before it stopped and jumped at Hinata. She caught the dog and let it lick her a few times before it jumped over and did the same thing to Shino. Hinata may have been a wreck mentally, but seeing her teammates filled her with strength as she vowed to not let them down during the exams. Naruto and his team made it to the academy with plenty of time to spare. They were making their way up the stairs when Kurama started talking to Naruto. "Hey Naruto, there's a weak genjutsu over the area. The other two already dispelled it and I made sure it didn't affect you." "Thanks, Kurama. I was never very good at countering genjutsu." The group made it to the door and walked in. There were a couple of teams already sitting around, but none that looked like any sort of threat. Naruto made sure to give them all a good once-over with his sensory powers and memorized their chakra signatures. He did this for everyone who walked in after them as well. His team sat down at a table near the front of the classroom. Hinata and her group reached the academy not long after Naruto. Hinata's team had also noticed the genjutsu and dispelled it instinctively. Being the students of one of the best genjutsu users in the village had its benefits. "Hey guys! Wait up." The three kids plus dog turned to see the Inoshikacho trio walking up to them. The two teams walked into the room together and found an unoccupied corner to talk in. Naruto of course instantly recognized Hinata's chakra and wanted to talk to her, but was held down when he tried to stand up by Omoi and Karui. "Naruto, it's in our best interest not to attract attention to ourselves right now. If we pull attention to ourselves, then everyone here might decide to target us, and we'll have to fight them all at once." "The idiot's right. Just sit and be quiet for once in your life." Naruto knew that his team was right, but he still wanted to talk to Hinata. He decided to wait and surprise her after the first part of the exam. More and more people started to come in, including the other Jinchuriki Naruto felt earlier. His murderous intent was disgusting to Naruto, but he was able to keep his calm around him. The Jinchuriki himself didn't seem threatening at first glance. He was about Naruto's size, except a little scrawnier. Naruto could tell he wasn't primarily a hand-to-hand fighter. The boys' team consisted of some weirdo with a huge thing on his back and an attractive girl with a big fan. "She's kinda hot. I can tell by her chakra she's got a pissy personality though. Not like Hinata. If you like that Hinata girl so much, then why don't you marry her?" "Slow down, Kurama. I haven't even kissed her yet." Naruto's thoughts were broken as another team entered through the door. This team consisted of the pink-haired girl Sakura and two black-haired boys. "Sai!" Ino yelled as she jumped on the pale boy with a hug from behind. "Ino, as much as I love the feel of your breasts on my back, can you please let go of me?" Sai said with a fake smile on his face. "You're such a bad boy, Sai. Why don't you let me take you out on a date after this exam is over?" "As much as I love your company, I'm going to have to decline." I'm sorry. Sai kept his fake smile up the whole time. Hey, you rookies should probably keep it down, said a white-haired boy with glasses as he walked up to the group of first-timers. Naruto wanted to keep listening to the conversation, but Kurama interrupted his thoughts. Naruto, the black-haired boy with the blue shirt is an Uchiha. Uchiha? That's the guy who Orochimaru is after then. We should keep an eye on him. Even if he's young, he's still an Uchiha. I'm not too worried. Take away their eyes and the Uchiha are just like any other ninja. Don't be arrogant, boy. The Sharingan is second only to the Rinnegan. You will lose if you take it lightly. Do me a favor and stop underestimating me. I did research on all the clans of this village before we came here. I know what the Sharingan can do. Trust me, I got a plan. For your sake, I hope you're right. By the way, that group of Leaf Genin is getting some negative attention. I'd perk up my ears if I were you. Taking Kurama's advice, Naruto started listening intently to the room around him when his attention shifted to a group of sound Genin whispering among themselves. Apparently the white-haired boy made a comment about the sound ninja that they didn't like and they were planning a surprise attack. While the white-haired boy was talking to the Uchiha, the sound Genin made their move and made a beeline toward him. The leader of the group revealed a large metal glove on his arm and was preparing to strike at the boy. Before he was able to complete his attack, however, his arm was strung up by a golden chain. All of a sudden the attention of everyone in the room was on the person who had summoned the chain. None other than everyone's favorite knucklehead. Hey, dickhead, lighten up. You don't have to get all pissy and start attacking people over nothing. Naruto recalled the chakra chain and stared at the group of sound Genin who stared back. Neither side was backing down and the onlookers were stunned at how fast things were escalating. Who is this guy? Whoever he is, I'm going to have to watch out for him. That chain wasn't just a normal chain. It came from his body somehow. Were Sasuke's thoughts as he intently watched the scene in front of him. Naruto. You're still the same boy who would selflessly put himself in harm's way to protect another. Hinata watched the scene and felt a wave of relief wash over her. Naruto wouldn't have bothered doing that if he wasn't the same boy he was back then. So that's the boy who got away from Lord Orochimaru. It seems he's gained some skill in the past few years. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this one. The white-haired boy Kabuto thought as he watched the scene unfold with a smile on his face. The staring contest was brought to an abrupt halt when the test examiners arrived in a cloud of smoke. Among the group of Chunin was one Jonin who stood at the center. He introduced himself as Ibiki Marino and gave the sound ninja a quick chewing out. He then went on to explain the first part of the test. This first test will be a written examination. You have 90 minutes to complete a 10-question test. The 10th question will be given separately from the first 9 in the last 15 minutes of the exam. Anyone caught cheating will be given a 2-point deduction. If caught cheating 5 times, you will automatically fail the test. If any member of a team fails the test, then the entire squad fails. No. Everyone in the room's attention turned to Naruto. Why did it have to be a written test? Naruto buried his face in his arms on the table and sat quietly. Well, that boy is certainly a funny one. The proctor thought before instructing his helpers to assign the seats for the test. After a few minutes of shifting around, everyone was seated, and to Naruto's delight he was lucky enough to be sitting next to the girl of his dreams. Hinata was delighted as well, but she was also very nervous and didn't know what to say. Hey Hinata, you shouldn't be so nervous. I bet a smart girl like you will pass no problem. Thank you, Naruto. The tests were passed out and the Chunin exams officially started. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if and want to see next part of it, comment down below and let me know. Also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.